want to read in the book of Luke, chapter 15, verses 11 through 24, and want to talk about going back home. And he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together, and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, How many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him, and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck, and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven, and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead, and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to be merry. A few years back, we were holding a revival at a church out in the country, and I was outside working when I heard something scare a chicken. Now, I believe my wife brought this story in last year in one of her devotions, but I wanted to bring in another detail or two. Maybe some of you have not heard this story about the chicken, but anyway, that sound that I heard came from a neighbor's house, which was across the yard on the other side of some bushes and trees. I looked and saw a chicken fly up in the air. The chicken must have been out of the pen. Why it was out of the pen? I don't know. It might have been pecked by one of the other chickens, or maybe it had a roaming spirit a hold of it and wanted to get out and just go somewhere. Whatever the case, it found a way to get out. And this little chicken was footloose and fancy free, as some folks would say it. But what the chicken didn't know was that a fox was nearby. The fox got after this little chicken. The chicken came running out of them bushes for its life. Literally, at first, I thought it was a little dog that was following the chicken. What I thought was a little dog was that little fox. Fast as a fox can run, I thought surely it would have caught that chicken as soon as they came out of the bushes, but it just followed the little chicken standing a little ways behind. It looked like the chicken was running as fast as it could go, coming straight to where I was. If chickens could talk, it would have hollered, Help me, help me. The chicken ran right past me. Well, the old fox just kept coming. I thought, if this fox knows I'm here and it's not afraid of me, I just might have some trouble on my hands right here. I didn't turn around and run. I stood my ground. This little fox was not going to get this little chicken. All of a sudden, the fox realized I was there. Startled and surprised, it turned and ran across the yard and into the woods. The chicken ran up under the church and stayed there the rest of the day. Just before dark, it headed back home to the neighbor's house, limping as it walked. Now, while the fox was on its trail, it sure wasn't limping. It was running real good. When you're running for your life, you can overlook some little hurts that you might have. I don't know if that morning the other chickens had hurt this little chicken or if the fox had injured it. One good thing about it, the chicken was still alive and it was headed back home. I noticed it sure was looking around on its way back. I think it was making sure the old fox was gone. If the little chicken would have stayed in its pen, it wouldn't have had to run for its life. For this devotion, I felt like telling someone, stay in your safe place. I feel to tell someone else, you have left your safe place. Maybe you have said to others, I'm out of here. I'm going to do my own thing. What you didn't realize is the sly old fox, the devil, was near, and you're having to run for your life. You are no match for the devil. You can't overcome him in your own strength. Run to the house of God. You can also call out to the Lord right where you are. Let the Lord put you back in the place where you belong. Out of His will is no safe place to be. Oh, how well Psalms 91 tells of the safety of the secret place under the wings of the Almighty. It's time for somebody to go back home to your church, back home to your family, back to what God has called you to do. Don't stay out there in the devil's territory, because night is coming on. Now is a time to make your way back. Go back to where you are safe. Like the prodigal son, he knew where to go. He knew where that safe place was. It's the right thing to do. Go back home and be restored.